In the heart of a bustling town stood a high school, almost ordinary but for one peculiarity. At this school, amidst the labyrinth of polished hallways and laughter-filled classrooms, there existed a room, cloaked in mystery and sealed away from prying eyes. The door, nestled on the third floor, was always locked, its paint chipped and color faded, as if guarding secrets from decades past. Among the school's inhabitants was Alex, a junior with a quiet disposition and an unquenchable curiosity. Alex's days were typically uneventful, filled with the monotony of lectures and the occasional chatter with classmates. Yet, there was an odd occurrence that began to disrupt the rhythm of Alex's daily life. It started as a faint whisper, almost imperceptible, that seemed to dance through the corridors and reach only Alex's ears. The whispers would call out Alex's name, soft and insistent, emanating from the direction of the locked room. Initially, Alex dismissed these whispers as figments of an overactive imagination. But as days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder and more frequent, particularly when Alex lingered in the hallway near the mysterious room after school hours. The enigma of the room and the whispers that seemed to beckon Alex grew more intriguing by the day. One late afternoon, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the school emptied, Alex found themselves alone on the third floor. The whispers were clearer now, more pronounced, as if urging Alex closer. Heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement, Alex approached the door. It stood there as always, old, weathered, and uninviting. But today, something was different. Today, the door was slightly ajar. A chill ran down Alex's spine. Thoughts raced through their mind. Who opened it? What lies beyond? The rational part of Alex screamed to walk away, to dismiss this as prank. The curiosity, that deep non-curiosity, won over. With a hesitant hand, Alex pushed the door open just a little wider, enough to peek inside. What greeted them was a room shrouded in shadows, filled with old furniture coated in dust and cobwebs. At its center stood a large, antique mirror, its surface speckled with age. The whispers ceased the moment Alex crossed the threshold, replaced by a deafening silence. The air felt heavy, as if charged with a latent energy. Alex's eyes scanned the room, taking in the eerie stillness. It was just an old room, there isn't, yet something about it felt deeply unsettling. As Alex stood there, enveloped in the room's ominous embrace, they didn't notice the slow, creeping fog that began to gather outside the school. Nor did they see the shadows that seemed to move just at the edge of their vision. All they knew was the room called to them, and for reasons they couldn't comprehend, they felt an inexplicable need to uncover its secrets. Unbeknownst to Alex, the door behind them creaked softly as it swung shut, enveloping the room in darkness, sealing them in with whatever lay hidden within these ancient walls. The days following Alex's first encounter with the locked room were marked by a persistent unease. Despite their attempts to focus on normal activities, the memory of the whispering door lingered in the back of their mind, an unshakable presence. It was a week later, on a similarly quiet evening, when the whispers returned. This time they were more insistent, a sibilant chorus that echoed down the empty hallways, growing louder as Alex neared the third floor. The air felt thicker, charged with an energy that seemed to pull Alex towards the mysterious room. As driven by a mixture of fear and an overwhelming need for answers, Alex stepped forward. Their hands trembled as they pushed the door open, the creaking of its hinges echoing through the silent hallway. The room awaited, bathed in shadows that seemed to dance and shift with a life of their own. Inside, the scene was much as Alex remembered. Dust-laden and untouched by time. But now, the mirror at the center of the room drew Alex's attention. It stood tall and imposing, its surface reflecting the dim light in strange, distorted ways. As Alex approached, the whispers crescendoed, a cacophony of sound that seemed to emanate from the mirror itself. Fascinated and terrified in equal measure, Alex reached out a hand towards the mirror. Their reflection stared back, yet something was amiss. It wasn't just a reflection, it felt like something was looking through from the other side, its gaze cold and penetrating. The whispers now formed coherent sentences, calling out to Alex, pleading, warning. Words of caution, tales of sorrow, and cryptic messages swirled around, filling the room with an otherworldly chorus. Alex stumbled back, breath catching in their throat. This was no ordinary mirror, and this room held secrets far beyond their wildest imaginings. A sense of dread settled in Alex's heart, a realization that they had unwittingly entangled themselves in something ancient and unknowable. As they left the room that evening, the door closing with a definitive thud behind them, Alex knew their life had changed. They could no longer ignore the call of the whispering room. A mystery was unraveling, and they were at its center. The need to understand, to uncover the truth behind the whispers, consumed them. Little did they know, the path they had chosen was fraught with dangers, both seen and unseen, and the answers they sought might be more terrifying than the whispers themselves. In the following days, Alex's visits to the locked room became more frequent. Each time they entered, the mirror seemed to beckon, its surface shimmering with an ethereal light. Alex started to document these visits, jotting down each peculiar occurrence, and the phrases whispered by unseen voices. The room, once just a silent part of the school, now felt alive, its every creak and groan like a language only Alex could understand. The strange occurrences weren't confined to the room. Objects in Alex's classroom began moving inexplicably, books falling off shelves without cause, lights flickering without reason. Alex's friends noticed the changes too, their concern growing as they watched Alex become more withdrawn, more obsessed with the locked room. Nightmares plagued Alex, vivid and disturbing. They dreamed of the room, of the mirror, of faces twisted in agony appearing in its glass. These dreams bled into waking life, leaving Alex on edge, jumping at shadows and startling at the slightest sound. Reflections in windows and mirrors around the school seemed distorted, as if another world was bleeding into their own. Driven by a need for answers, Alex enlisted the help of two friends, Jamie and Taylor. Together, they delved into the school's history, uncovering old yearbooks and newspaper clippings. They found a story from decades ago about a student, Eliza Hartley, who mysteriously vanished. Her last known location was said to be the very room that now whispered Alex's name. The more they learned, the more the pieces began to fit together. The whispers, the mirror, the strange occurrences, they all seemed connected to Eliza's disappearance. But how? And why was Alex being drawn into this? Their research took them to the town library, where they found an old journal belonging to the school's founding headmaster. In it, he wrote of a mirror, an artifact he believed to be a gateway to another realm. He spoke of voices, of a presence within the mirror, and of his growing fear of what he had unleashed. This revelation sent a chill down Alex's spine. If the mirror was a gateway, then what was on the other side? And what did it want with Alex? As the pieces of the puzzle slowly came together, the sense of foreboding grew. Alex realized that the whispers were not just calling them, they were warning them. But of what, Alex couldn't yet comprehend. They knew only that they were inextricably linked to this mystery, and that they had to see it through, no matter the cost. Unbeknownst to Alex and their friends, a dark shadow watched from the depths of the mirror, its intentions unknown, its gaze fixed on Alex. The game had begun, and the stakes were higher than they could possibly imagine. The culmination of events led to a night that would forever be etched in Alex's memory. It was a night when the moon hung heavy in the sky, casting a pale, eerie glow over the school. The whispers had become more urgent, more demanding, pulling Alex towards the locked room with an almost magnetic force. With Jamie and Taylor at their side, Alex stood before the door, their heart pounding with a mix of dread and determination. The door, which once seemed impenetrable, now swung open with a haunting creak at their touch. The room lay shrouded in darkness, the only light emanating from the ghostly sheen of the mirror. As they stepped inside, the air grew colder, the atmosphere charged with a palpable tension. The whispers crescendoed into a deafening roar, then abruptly ceased, leaving a suffocating silence in their wake. Alex approached the mirror, the reflection staring back at them, distorted and wavering as if underwater. Then, something extraordinary happened. The glass rippled, and an image began to form, a ghostly figure slowly materializing. It was a girl, her features blurred yet hauntingly familiar. It was Eliza Hartley. The room seemed to hold its breath as Eliza's image became clear. Her eyes, filled with an unspeakable sadness, locked onto Alex's. Then, she spoke. Her voice was a mere whisper, yet it resonated through the room, filling every corner with her presence. Eliza revealed her tragic tale. She spoke of her fascination with the mirror, of how she too had heard the whispers. She told of how the mirror was a gateway to another realm, a realm that had called to her, lured her in. But once she crossed the threshold, she became trapped, her spirit tethered to the mirror, unable to find peace. Her story was one of warning and sorrow, a plea for help to break the bond that held her to this world. Eliza's eyes implored Alex to aid her, to do what she could not to close the gateway and release her spirit. The revelation shook Alex to their core. The room, the mirror, Eliza's spirit, it all connected back to the whispers that had haunted Alex. They now understood the purpose behind the whispers, the reason for their strange connection to the room. Jamie and Taylor stood by, their eyes wide with shock and fear, as Alex communicated with Eliza's spirit. They knew what needed to be done. With a heavy heart, Alex agreed to help Eliza find peace, to end her years of torment. As they prepared to enact the ritual Eliza had instructed them in, the air grew thick with a sense of impending doom. Shadows danced along the walls, and the mirror's surface rippled with an otherworldly energy. Alex, Jamie, and Taylor joined hands, their voices uniting in a chant that echoed through the room. But as the ritual reached its climax, something went terribly wrong. Eliza's image in the mirror contorted in agony, and a malevolent force surged forth. The room trembled, objects levitating and hurtling across the space as an unseen power unleashed its fury. In that moment, Alex realized the true danger they faced. The gateway wasn't just a passage for Eliza's spirit, it was a conduit for something much darker, a malevolent entity that had been biding its time, waiting for its chance to break through. Faced with this terrifying revelation, Alex knew they had to make a choice. A choice that would either save Eliza and close the gateway or unleash an unspeakable horror upon the world. The weight of this decision, the lives it would impact, bore down on Alex, as they prepared to confront the darkness that lurked within the mirror. In the midst of chaos, with the room thrashing in the grip of the malevolent force, Alex struggled to maintain focus. They remembered Eliza's instructions, her words echoing in their mind amidst the tumult. The ritual was their only chance to set things right. Alex, Jamie, and Taylor, though shaken, continued to chant, their voices rising above the din. They followed the ritual meticulously, each step a battle against the unseen force that fought to break through. As the ritual neared its end, the atmosphere in the room intensified. The mirror's surface roiled like a stormy sea, and the air crackled with energy. It became clear that the entity within the mirror was not going to be easily subdued. The room shook violently, books and furniture hurtling through the air as if caught in a tempest. Alex felt the grip of the entity trying to invade their mind, a whispering malice that sought to turn their fears against them. It was a battle of wills, and for a moment, Alex faltered, the overwhelming power of the entity shaking their resolve. But the thought of Eliza, trapped and tormented, gave Alex the strength to push back against the darkness. Realizing that the ritual alone was not enough, Alex made a crucial decision. They remembered a passage from the headmaster's journal about the power of personal sacrifice, of something willingly given to appease the spirits. With a heavy heart, Alex removed a necklace, a family heirloom that had been passed down for generations. It was more than just a piece of jewelry, it was a symbol of Alex's heritage, their connection to their family. Muttering a final plea, Alex threw the necklace into the swirling vortex of the mirror. The room fell silent for a heartbeat, then erupted in a blinding light. The force of the entity recoiled as if struck by an immense power, its hold on the room wavering. The light enveloped everything, and for a moment, Alex, Jamie, and Taylor were caught in a world of pure, searing energy. Then, as quickly as it had begun, the tumult ceased. The room fell still, the air clear and calm. The mirror, once a gateway to an unknown horror, was now just a mirror. Its surface was still, reflecting only the room and its occupants. The whispers, the malevolent presence, all were gone. In the silence that followed, Alex felt a profound sense of loss, the weight of their sacrifice a heavy burden. Yet, there was also relief. The entity was contained, the gateway closed, and Eliza's spirit, they hoped, was finally at peace. As they left the room, Alex glanced back one last time. The mirror stood silent, a benign witness to the night's events. The legacy of the Whispering Room would live on, but its secrets were now sealed, its horrors locked away. In the aftermath, Alex, Jamie, and Taylor emerged from the experience changed. They had confronted the unknown, faced their fears, and emerged victorious, albeit scarred by the ordeal. The memory of that night would linger, a reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the mysteries that lie beyond. In the days that followed, the school returned to its usual rhythm, the echoes of the strange events fading into memory. The locked room on the third floor remained, but its door was no longer a barrier to the curious. It stood open, harmless and devoid of the sinister presence that once lurked within. For Alex, the resolution brought a mix of emotions. Relief, certainly, for having ended the haunting and potentially dangerous influence of the mirror. But there was also a sense of loss, a part of themselves left behind in that room, symbolized by the family heirloom they had sacrificed. The experience had a profound impact on Alex. They had grown, not just in courage but in understanding. The world was wider and more mysterious than they had ever imagined. The whispers were gone, but the lessons remained. Alex found a new appreciation for the unknown, a respectful acknowledgement of the mysteries that lay just beyond the veil of the ordinary. Jamie and Taylor, too, were changed. The ordeal had brought them closer, a bond forged in the fires of shared adversity. They often spoke of the night, dissecting the events, wondering about the many what-ifs. But there was an unspoken agreement to leave some questions unanswered, some mysteries unsolved. As Alex walked through the hallways of the school, they often paused by the now open door of the locked room. It was just an old storage room now, filled with the mundane clutter of forgotten school supplies and broken furniture. Yet, when the light faded, and the corridors grew quiet, Alex sometimes thought they heard a faint whisper, a ghost of the past calling out one last time. But when they turned to look, there was only silence, the room empty and benign. The story of the Whispering Room became another legend in the tapestry of the school's history, whispered about by students, embellished and transformed with each retelling. But for Alex, it was more than a story, it was a chapter in their life, a reminder of a time when they faced the unknown and emerged stronger. The world was full of mysteries, Alex knew, and some doors were best left closed. But the curiosity that had led them to the locked room remained, a spark waiting to ignite at the next whisper of the unknown. And so, life went on, the memory of the Whispering Room lingering in the back of Alex's mind, a silent testament to the night when the veil between worlds was lifted, and the ordinary became extraordinary.